by James, we are in a new age of e-commerce. The pandemic has hastened the digital transformation of many industries. Even MSMEs have jumped on the train towards a digital future. With that said, having a reliable payment gateway for all their transactions is of paramount importance. And that's where Unionbank steps in. The unwavering commitment to empower Filipino entrepreneurs amid the pandemic is a testament to Unionbank's reputation as the bank for MSMEs. Now, this is further solidified with recent accolades from two of the most prestigious award-giving bodies in banking and finance globally. Best Bank for SMEs for the second year in a row at the Asia Money Best Bank Awards 2021 and SME Bank of the Year 2021 at the Asian Banking and Finance Awards. Now, today, we're going to hear about another groundbreaking service that Union Bank is offering to the lifeblood of the Philippine economy, our MSMEs. To help us learn more about this, we are now joined by JP Soliman, Vice President and SME Segment Head of Union Bank of the Philippines. Good morning, JP. Please tell us more about this new service.
If you can feel, I'm a bit excited about this and what we are going to share. So yeah, let's talk about the critical role of digitizing payments in a very, very fast evolving market. We talk about market from the point of view of sellers and merchants, and we consider greatly as well the point of view of consumers and the buyers. As consumers are the ones really molding how businesses will need to transform in the future. Evolution in the market, we see this happening from a business perspective and driven from a consumer perspective. Now, the Philippines has a growing MSME economy with more than 1 million SMEs registered in the country. And even in the past 2 years, we've seen fast-growing ecosystems of micro and self-employed entrepreneurs. This may be you and me. This may be your family members, your spouse, entering into entrepreneurship. This is truly an area of huge opportunities. We have seen changes in the way MSMEs conduct business, and we have also seen quick pivots into the digital space brought about by environmental factors. Because of these factors, such as the pandemic lockdowns we experienced, the business sector was faced with more and more pain points on the interactions that they have with their customers. The response here is that we need to power the future of MSMEs through innovations, through technology-powered services that will allow them to be resilient to whatever comes in the next future. The MSME segment is so vast and experiences may differ from one to the other. But what is common among them is customer interaction and their customer preferences has really changed. Let's look at the stories of MSMEs who suddenly experienced changes in the market behavior of their customers and thus had to also change the needs for their business. Take into example the story of Aling Susing, who owns a small sari-sari store, a mini grocery. Her store was 100% face-to-face, but lockdowns prohibited her to have the same traffic and number of customers that would visit her store. Her customers are now interacting with her via SMS, and it's surprising even via Facebook Messenger, Viber Messenger platforms. And she had learned to maximize these digital channels for her advantage. Now, how about Erica, a former employee from an FMCG company who lost her job due to the extended pandemic? She found a new career in her home-based baking business, specializing on cakes and cookies. She has converted to become an entrepreneur full-time, initially selling to friends and neighbors, but now also entered in the e-commerce space to be able to reach more clients elsewhere. We also have the stories of Patricia, who was once an online seller full-time, but has been getting a good number of orders from her online stores in marketplaces and apps like Shopee or Lazada. Now she's experiencing customers going direct to her, customers who are accessing her catalog directly from her own website and ordering from her through messenger platforms again. There are many, many stories of MSMEs, and we've heard them, stories coming straight from them, even stories of brick-and-mortar coffee shops, restaurants, food kiosks, and even e-commerce or digital new storefronts of the business. Included there is the growing number of Filipinos now using digital payments. Hootsuite and We Are Social reported 34.5% of Filipinos now have bank accounts and access to e-wallets and mobile wallets. Financial inclusion projects are enabling the onboarding of more of the Filipino consumers into that perspective of having digital payments. Another big evolution in the e-commerce space is about storefronts, and they are changing as well, driven again by the need to always stay connected with your customer. Starting with businesses having websites of their own. You remember that 5 years ago, websites was big. to being participants and sellers into popular marketplaces, again, like Shopee and Lazada. And most recently, even social media messenger platforms have started onboarding sellers, Facebook marketplaces, even activating selling experiences in FB Messenger. And most recently, even Viber has launched a seller center and those capabilities. Now, businesses are not just experiencing this, but and they are not just experimenting on these platforms, but they are really onboarding. And now omni-channel as a strategy has become an integral thing. MSMEs don't usually understand or get deeper into what omni-channel is, but they are experiencing this and they are reacting to it. Now, one key thing on the digital channel space is these new storefronts, they should have digital payments. This completes the journey of the sale. This is having the ability to accept payments from customers and e-wallets and credit cards, debit cards, and even other banking apps through a single storefront where the customer is interacting. Again, in terms of digital payments, as reported also by We Are Social, Statista, and Hootsuite back in January 2021, the payments in the Philippines, digital payments has grown significantly. Now with 38.88 million Filipinos who are able to make digital payments and transactions, with look at the volume, 10.52 billion US dollars in volume. This shows how the consumers are now transacting digitally. They are ready. They are there. The number of Filipinos having e-wallets, mobile wallets, bank accounts that are growing through various initiatives of financial inclusion, the consumers are there. But the question is, are the MSMEs ready to accept digital payments? One more thing, based on a study conducted by Visa, which is you can find in the Adobo magazine article, 42% of Filipino respondents prefer paying through through cashless methods. And the rise of the new consumer, the Gen Z, our generation, right? And the upcoming generations, this is becoming a stronger preferences and going to be a way of life. The market is dictating the interaction. Customers with the power of having multiple options would prefer transacting to merchants who has that capability to collect online. Now, because of these shifts, businesses and MSMEs are now faced with more challenges. First, the cost to onboard to platforms and payment technologies, couple that with complicated experiences and even long turnaround times for applications to be accepted, and lastly, having market technology, big challenges that were faced back in 2020 and now moving forward to 2021. From an MSME perspective, the need to digitize payment collections is a solution that they need to fully understand and be very easy to navigate, coupled with the need to have payments that can be properly reconciled and accounted for. If the experience is having to open wallets and accounts in different places, monitor each and every one of them day in and day out, asking customers what channel is preferred, then we are not helping. We are not being relevant to the customer. Another challenge is Another challenge that has been observed recently is that technology that was built before, even prior to pandemic, were not ready to pivot against answering the new challenges of in the economy for MSMEs. If we limit the ability for MSMEs to onboard and accept, then we limit the opportunities for growth. So what we did in Unionbank was go directly to the customers. We made sure that we understood not just the side of the business, but even those of the consumers. We went straight to the sari-sari stores, the marketplaces, the we met with online sellers, right? We conducted journey mapping, customer interviews with all types of MSMEs, especially those who are very traditional in nature. And what we found were three key points. First is that the business environment is changing and businesses they don't need fancy solutions. They need relevant solutions, relevant to their own journeys as a business owner and how they experience that solution. Second is that the story is not just about the business. This includes their communities, their customers, their supply chain, their families, and again, relevance of the solutions from the point of view of the ecosystem. And third, we cannot reiterate this so much, but it's about customer experience. How do they interact with the solution? How easy is it to understand? And how does it change the way they do things? And who is there to help them? During the start of the year, we were able to maximize platform technologies to advance their businesses with insights in mind, Unionbank and our fintech subsidiary RubyX began to create platforms for MSMEs, ranging from banking platforms to e-commerce to even networking and logistics and financial and credit platforms. But these were built for all types of businesses. Anything in between, especially when it comes to banking, is answered by our MSME business banking platform. We have released this in Q4 2020 and we did a full launch early this year. And this is a digital banking platform that provides the relevant and core banking service to MSMEs and business owners right in their mobile phones through a web browser. Our MSME business banking mobile app allows customers to onboard by opening a bank account with us digitally. We also provide them access to apply for business loans. Most popular with the MSMEs right now is the ability to transfer funds through InstaPay or PesoNet, or even internationally through SWIFT, the ability to make payments to government and top utilities. And very popular is the ability to deposit checks to their business accounts through mobile check deposit. But the newest and most exciting one is the MSMEs now have the ability to instantly access and activate a payment gateway facility. Today, this is what we are sharing our excitement with. Our request for payment function we call UPay for MSMEs. This was specifically designed to allow multiple use cases. It may be for a physical store or a Viber seller, a Facebook seller, an e-commerce seller. UPay for MSMEs is a payment gateway that is embedded in our MSME business banking app. Businesses of all sizes, of all types, now has the power to generate payment links, request for payments, send it to their customers, and provide multiple payment options. All these reconciled and credited to a single Union Bank account that they nominate. We aim to provide a quick access to digital payments to all types of SMEs as soon as they activate the MSME business banking app. No matter what kind of business you are, you may be able to register instantly, whether you're selling cakes, cookies, electronics, even frozen food, who knows, that might be your thing. Allowing every MSME to accept payments and collect from their customers through a wide range of channels. We have designed UPay for MSMEs also for multiple use case for different types of businesses. Now, what we have for the MSME is the ability to generate fully onboard digitally and generate payment links. It's instant activation. From the perspective alone, as fast as 2 minutes, we're able to allow them access to the payment gateway. You'll be online payments, e-wallets, GCash, InstaPay, and over-the-counter transactions like for remittance centers. Sometimes you need to combine physical and digital, right? To provide service to the customers, but that's okay. And all those are available there. Because of the showcase of multiple channels, there's the usability with multiple types of transactions. They may opt to print out a QR code as a standee. They may opt to get a standee from us or save the image and they immediately use that for online selling. And because everything is digital, we're able to maximize low cost of entry strategy and ability to direct the credits to the merchant's account in Union Bank. UPay for MSMEs, if you see, I have a video playing here, is zero paper-based in terms of application. All they have to do is enable their Union Bank MSME business banking app. And if they don't have a bank account with us, they can open one through that app. They would just need to activate and register to the request for payment capability. And there you go. Once it's all done, you can now create a payment link or even a QR code for your business. So how do they use that? So they get a payment link or a QR, post it in their site, or send it to their customers through Messenger or SMS or email, wherever they are interacting. And the customer may now be able to make payments using the channels that they activated for the merchant. They can even download or print a QR code and display it on their counters for access. In terms of experience generating a QR and links, you can see here the video playing on the left. The merchant will be able to generate InstaPay QRPH codes that is downloadable, printable, and shareable. The QR is specific to InstaPay types of transactions, bank to bank using e-wallets, and whoever is in the InstaPay system. On the next video on your right that is playing, this is where the customer or the merchant is generating a payment link. Now, once the payment link has been sent over to the customer, this view is where the customer is now accessing the different payment channels. Again, the buyer or the customer does not need to have a Union Bank account. They can have bank accounts or e-wallets everywhere else. In fact, they can even choose to pay OTC through our partner channels. And that speaks great about how the interaction between the seller and the consumer can now be also digitized even with physical touch points. Now, the goal of Union Bank is to help every MSME stay open, keep open, no matter what the situation or the environment is posting or we are facing. Also, we would like to elevate the lives of new entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship has become a new career for many people, a new way of life for some. As more and more people become MSMEs, even from the informal sector, moving up to being a registered business, we will be there to help them in terms of payments and collections and whatever they need in the business.
With this, JP, many who are probably watching us now are probably thinking, I already have so many apps, so many digital wallets on my phone. Why do I need another payment gateway? What makes you different? What makes you pay different and better than competitors?
Actually, Bibi, that is what we're trying to solve. Having so many apps. So why not onboard to UPay for MSMEs, right? We provide a secure, accessible, and simple payment platform that enables all these channels for you. It is built inside our MSME business banking app. So with one access, with one Union Bank account, no need to set up another app, no need to set up so many apps on your phone, which later on eats up all the resources of your mobile phone and all that. All you need is one. And the ability to reconcile all of these in one view, in one transaction form, right? Imagine a business before. I also had a small business myself. And whenever a customer wanted to pay me through another bank or another e-wallet, I have to wait and keep opening all my apps just to find out where they made the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is a pain point. That is a pain point, and that is what we're trying to solve here. It's all in one platform.
All in one platform. Jerry, it's all about the network, the ecosystem that you're building. And I know Union Bank is building a very formidable ecosystem. How many merchants are currently in UPay right now? And what is the target?
Okay. Hi, Mimi. The numbers are promising. When we internally launched the solution to our existing MSME clients, already a significant number of our existing MSME clients already have access to the app. And give it a month or two, we see this increasing or exponentially increasing as people are more aware. Well, like this opportunity right now, we're opening it up to the public for them to know that there is UPay for MSMEs out there, and this is the solution for you. This is, I'd like to add to what JP mentioned. Why UPay for MSMEs? Because this app will level the playing field for MSMEs versus their bigger counterparts, versus the bigger merchants.
Mhm.
Because this MSME solution, before, only the bigger merchants have access to a dashboard, a payment gateway. But now we're bringing it to the MSMEs, the convenience of accepting all of these payments in one platform.
Mhm. Do you have a target, Jerry,
Well,
for how many merchants you want on your platform, maybe in 1 to 2 years' time?
I will go back to what JP mentioned earlier in this presentation. There are around 1 million registered businesses, of which 99.5 or so percent are MSMEs. So I guess that's the target for us. That's the whole
Okay.
universe. We're
Mhm.
ambitious.
Ambitious
more.
indeed. And more.
And more.
Jerry, I wanted to ask, what would the experience be like for your merchant partners? Could you walk us through the implementation at the store level rather? Will UPay be hooked up to their POS, for example? Is there an API? Could you walk us through the process?
Thank you, Mimi. Now, when we conceptualized or designed UPay for MSMEs, we wanted to do away with all the different hassles that the merchant is experiencing to set up his payments. One of which is having to connect to a POS system, having to have different devices, having to have download different apps. the key here is we made it accessible for them. Even in the application process, it's very accessible. Before, a merchant needs to fill up a lot of forms, but now all they need to do is download the app, fill up the information, and they can actually sign off on the app itself and have the feature available to them. And second, it's the efficiency of doing business. You don't need to be in your physical store to actually have a customer pay you. You can actually be vacationing somewhere else, and someone wants to buy a product which they saw in your post in Instagram or Facebook. You can actually just create a payment link and send a payment link to that customer. So it's very convenient for both the merchant, the owner, the entrepreneur, and the customer paying itself, paying the product.
JP, earlier you did talk about sending a payment link. Will the payment link be linked to a specific order or for the business itself? Or for every transaction, you can send a unique payment link?
Yes, for both. You can send a payment link for every transaction, and that way you will be able to monitor specifically for a particular reference or order.
Yeah.
And we also have the ability to generate a generic link, which some of our merchants are looking at, why do I need all these complications of attaching APIs, right, to my website and all? Well, I can simply just put a link. It becomes now the ability for them to also be able to collect payments through their websites. So we have both executions for them.
Yeah, the unique payment link per order, I imagine, is going to be critical. Because if you're an entrepreneur and you're dealing with 100, 200 orders for the day, it's going to be a nightmare to open your bank account and check which one actually paid, especially when the amounts are not really very different. So this is very, very helpful for entrepreneurs who want to scale.
I'd like to add to that, Mimi. Imagine before when a seller, what you mentioned, I have to open my bank account. I don't have any references. There's 200, 500 peso payments to me. How do I know which is which, for who is who, and for what product? Having the ability to generate a unique payment link for each and every one, you'd even know who among your customers already made the payment, who among your customers has not yet made the payment, who tried to make a payment and failed.
Wow, even that you can see.
Yes, and what we have also in our platform is the ability for you to control the timing of the payments. We give the MSMEs the ability to put an expiry date and time in the payment links. Imagine if you're a seller with a fast-moving product, right? There's a new fad out there, right? A new type of milk tea, and you're running out, and you need customers to make a payment to reserve. So you can even put an expiry, and you will see which customers were able to make the deadline.
Wow. Okay, that's new. The expiration for me, that's the first time I'm hearing it. Let's talk about another big challenge for entrepreneurs would be sourcing. When they buy supplies from suppliers who may not be based locally. Let's talk about the remittance side, JP. Can UPay, for example, be used to pay a supplier from China, for example? Because currently, if I'm an entrepreneur, I'm going to buy, say, products from this Chinese supplier. There are basically three main ways to do it. I do it via a remittance agency. I'm not going to mention the brand, and so that's one. A telegraphic transfer, which will pass through a bank. That's a lot of paperwork. I will need a dollar account to do that, and it's going to take time. Or PayPal. We know how PayPal is widely used. What about UPay? Is UPay going to allow me as well to make these cross-border payments?
Basically, Mimi, UPay is a facility for inward. It's where the MSME is receiving the money.
Okay.
But what's perfect is UPay is inside the MSME business banking app. And in that app, you have the ability to transfer funds outside of to any bank outside the country through SWIFT. What you were describing earlier, that I have to do a telegraphic transfer, that before I have to walk into the branch, sign some papers, even sometimes provide some other additional documentations. I need to make a payment to my supplier who will not release my goods if I don't do this. Now you can do it on the phone. So even if you're vacationing or even late at night, you need to make a payment, you can do it right there on your mobile phone. And again, the beauty is we put them together in one platform. So every time you need to make a collection, every time you need to make a payment, you open just one single mobile app. You can do all of them there.
And,
JP, yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, maybe just to add also, with UPay for MSMEs, we're actually transforming your Juan or Pedro who's selling online, and opening up his store to the global market.
Yeah.
How? By accepting one of the payment features, one of the payment channels actually is accepting Visa and MasterCard, which are global brands, which allows payments coming from overseas to cross borders.
Mhm. Will the cost be lower for overseas transactions?
One
Or
thing is for
the same?
sure. Yeah, one thing is for sure. The product is for MSMEs, so we made our pricing very attractive to our MSMEs.
There you go. Okay, another question with that. So, JP, you clarified earlier that for UPay, it's inward. The flow is inward. It's payment for the MSME or the merchant. For example, I have a buyer from China who's buying from me, who needs to pay me. PayPal, for example, has this so-called buyer protection, which means they have a dispute mechanism. If the client has a problem with the product, they can actually file a dispute and PayPal itself will try to mediate. And if not, if it doesn't work out, magkakasulian ng pera. Will UPay also have that sort of buyer protection mechanism?
There's a buyer protection mechanism. In fact, it's Jerry's team who's actually doing that for us.
Oh,
So
okay.
when payments happen and there's a dispute about that payment, normally that would be the payment was not in the exact amount or there was a duplicate one. That would be the normal cases in the industry. And there is a team who's ready to support our merchants on those cases.
Jerry, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, just to add, both the merchants and consumers, they have this facility where they can actually return or make adjustments in the payments being made.
Very conveniently, I hope.
Yeah.
With not a lot of paperwork.
Yes.
Okay. Since we're on the question of cross-border transactions, the Bangko Sentral and the Monetary Authority of Singapore last week signed a landmark deal for seamless real-time cross-border payments between InstaPay here in the Philippines and Singapore's Pay Now. How will that fit into the UPay platform?
Basically, we're already in InstaPay. We were using InstaPay as a channel, both for, if everyone has heard, we have the person-to-person InstaPay platform, and we also have a new person-to-merchant platform. Once BSP is ready and that connection is ready, we will be ready for that as well. And that's very exciting news for us as well. Imagine enabling QR payments cross-border. I mean, that's something that people always dreamed of, and now it's going to become a reality through our partners in Bangko Sentral and all these other governments.
Okay, exciting times ahead. Jerry, I'm very curious, will the the platform come with special features as well or perks for those who want to use it?
Actually, it's Unionbank, we're always innovating things. So right now we have all of these payment channels. I will name them. There's InstaPay, there's the digital wallets, there's Visa and MasterCard, over-the-counter payments. We will be continuously adding more payment channels, the more popular payment channels to our roster of existing channels. And we are also looking at other features like what JP mentioned earlier, remittance. And what's also in the pipeline is loans for our SMEs. So we don't stop at payments. We want to make sure that we equip our MSMEs with the proper tools for them to run their businesses.
All in one powerful platform.
Yes.
It's a one-stop shop. Okay. What about incentives, rebates for those who use it? I'm not going to name one competitor, but there is a digital wallet that is tied to an e-commerce brand, a regional player. And what they're doing is, whenever you use their wallet, their platform, you earn rebates, which you can use the next time you buy from the same platform. This incentivizes merchants and consumers, both. Do you have plans to offer the same?
Yeah. I will answer that. Yeah. Actually, right now, if for those already in the app or for those planning to download the app, merchants right now enjoy for those for their customers making payments through Unionbank online, for their personal Unionbank online through the app. They're currently the fees are currently waived right now. So that's
Wow,
one of the
okay.
perks of that's one of the introductory perks that we have right now, and that's we've started there, and we'll be continuously adding more perks and probably promos for both the merchant and to consumers to entice them to use our app
Mhm.
or utilize the different payment channels.
Okay. JP, I wanted to ask about data management because, this platform is going to open up a big door for data, a treasure trove of data from the merchant side, from the consumer side. This will give you access to a very rich set of data. Will you also be offering to your merchants perhaps data science, big data analysis about buyers, their spending habits, trends, patterns?
Definitely yes. Definitely yes. That is already something we are working on. We are creating a special dashboard for our merchants, which will combine the sales, the collections, the projected sales. If a merchant is creating payment links, which is to be used for the future, it will be there. And imagine if as an MSME, normally you won't be able to afford heavy softwares like SAP, Oracle, and those things that could give you the predictions. But from the mobile app perspective, you can see if there are going to be gaps on your funding, if there are any surpluses, and you can act immediately. If there may be gaps, you might need to borrow money for a special payment you need to do. What if there are surpluses? The income that you can get if you use those surplus for maybe another business or maybe a placement or an investment, that's something critical for MSMEs also. Imagine we have to protect every peso in our bank account, right? Make them earn for us. So I guess this dashboard with all those data analytics will really help
Mhm.
the MSMEs later on.
I can imagine a lot of these smaller players can really benefit greatly from the power of data. Jerry, how are you going to keep this platform safe for both your customers and businesses, for the merchants and consumers?
I was anticipating that question, Winnie. Well, Union Bank gives utmost importance to the security of its platforms. Of course, top on the list is protecting both the merchant and the user's information inside the app. Now, there are several layers of protection that are built within the app. One is that before you're able to push through with the transaction, let's say I am a user making a payment for something that I ordered to JP, for example. Before I even proceed with the transaction, there's a security notification that tells me, "Hey, Jerry, you have to check first that you have to make sure that you're actually paying JP. Make sure that this is the correct amount, and make sure that this is the transaction reference number pertaining to your transaction." So there's the first layer. There's notification, and second is that all our payment channels require a one-time password. So there's an OTP involved just to make sure that before you push through with the transaction, it is actually the user. There's user or authentication before the transaction proceeds.
Mhm, mhm. JP, Jerry, I'm very curious how you view competition because there's so many digital wallets out there. Who do you view as your biggest competitor? Is it the banks with a digital wallet, or would it be those who are non-banks, like those who offer services but have built wallets to be used in their ecosystem, the likes of Grab, for example, the likes of Shopee? Who would you consider the bigger competitor? I guess I want to hear from JP first, and then Jerry, your thoughts.
From my point of view, I actually welcome all of them. I mean, our channel also accepts e-wallet payments from Grab, from GCash, and hopefully soon with other e-wallets that's coming out there. Uh, and recently, actually, I attended one forum about this, about e-payments,
Mhm.
and everyone were in unison saying that the more players out there, the better for the MSME economy, because there's a lot of options, choices for them. So basically, for me, there's really not the view of having competitors, but I do wish also that together in unison, there could be a single message in unison among all of us about how really it benefits the MSMEs. What we're doing on our end is allowing the instant activation, and I think that's where we are differentiating ourselves.
Mm.
zero papers, right? You don't have to wait 5 days for you to say that, okay, now I can start accepting. It's all instant. It's all in 5 seconds, in 5 minutes max. It's all there for you. And that's I believe the best thing that would happen for MSMEs, that instant activation piece.
Mhm. Jerry?
Yeah. My take on this is that more than the competition, whether you're a fintech company or you're a financial institutions company, in the end, all these solutions are actually interoperable. So one fintech, a digital, this digital company can actually make a payment through our platform. We can accept payments from our,
Mhm.
shall we say, competitors as well. So what we're actually doing here is we're opening up the market. We are digitalizing the market. We are making payments accessible to both merchants and consumers, and we're actually what they call this, making improvements on how payment is made, which is, I think, aligned with the BSP's plans of digitalizing the economy, or the government plans of digitalizing the economy.
Mhm. Jerry, when you look to the future, maybe 5, 10 years down the road, do you see this platform making use or being a platform for digital currencies as well? I ask this question because Union Bank is at the forefront of blockchain technology conversations, digital currencies. So, what do you think?
Well, this is going to be that's a good question. Of course, with every platform that Union Bank develops, let's just say that Union Bank, the RUPay platform, it's just the base platform. And given our inclination to innovation, we always make sure that our platforms can adapt to the future. So I will have to say that this platform is open to whatever payment technology that the future will bring us, or whatever form of currency that we will have in the future.
Okay. On that note, JP, Jerry, I think this fireside chat is ready to wrap up, and we're ready to take questions from our friends in the media. At this juncture, we're ready to welcome these questions from our media attendees. I'm sure they're all excited to ask our speakers. But before that, we just have a few reminders. Please use the Zoom Q&A function to type in your questions. If you haven't yet, do include your name and the media organization that you represent. Okay, I think we're ready to take the first question, and the first question is from Angela Mayabad. Is UPay or will UPay change the way we do cash in to any platforms without the hassle of transaction fees? JP?
I'll go answer that first. I believe that the transaction fees is, or some people may call it gas fees in the meta world. um, they will later on get lower and lower as more and more people are transacting. But I'm not yet quite sure if other platforms also will do away with those types of fees. They may be necessary to also support the technology around it. But definitely, you pay us, for example, we are doing our best to also make sure that our fees and whatever charges are in the platform are as low as possible, right? As low as possible. That's what Jerry and I really promise the MSMEs. Uh, to make it inclusive, we have to lower down all the types of fees that we have in the platform.
Yeah. And for me, Mimi, it's I don't actually like to call it fees. I'd like to call it cost of technology, cost of investment, cost of convenience, so to speak. Because these platforms that we are developing, the UPay platform, it's all about making things convenient for our customers. And to JP's point, pricing, of course, pricing will always be there, but we will make sure that it is very attractive to our both the merchants and those making payment to the platform itself.
JP, let me push you a bit on the pricing, competitive and as low as can be. What's the transaction fee like for using UPay?
Actually, that's a question for Jerry. That's
Jerry.
more for Jerry.
So what's the pricing look like for
Okay.
UPay?
Uh, In terms of pricing, we price our transaction in different ways. There are channels that have a fixed fee pricing, and there are channels that have percentage pricing, meaning a percentage of the full transaction amounts. So with regards to the pricing model, those are the two. Some may combine both. There's a transaction fee as well and a percentage of the transaction.
And
So
and
those
what
are the
decides who and what decides whether you're going to use the fixed or the percentage?
Actually, it's already assigned to which channel we are going to price as fixed and which channel we are going to
Oh.
have a percentage pricing. Or maybe just to give you an idea, for card payment acceptance, it will be percentage pricing. For the other channels, much like person to merchant payments, that will be fixed fee pricing.
Okay. And the fixed fee would be very competitive.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. We have another question. This is from Rory Visco. What would be in store for MSMEs next year in terms of adopting digital technology in the conduct of their business? Or will they go back to their pre-pandemic ways? Will there be a hybrid of face-to-face and digital transactions?
But if I can answer that, it's going to be very much a hybrid. Even our partners in the Department of Trade, they are going to be running a hybrid Christmas bazaar, both having both online and physical. It's going to happen the first week of December. Now, why am I saying hybrid? It's because that in the past 2 years, it's really the people's behavior that changed greatly. I've noticed personally when I tried to go out of the house because it's now alert level 2, I saw people doing a lot more window shopping, and I actually saw my kid doing a window shopping, and I asked him, "Would you like to buy that? Right? We're already here. Would you like to buy that?" And you know what he told me? "Dad, we can buy it online. I'm just here to look at the actual item." So it's going to be really a hybrid for people, especially that a lot more now has experienced online. And what is the value of doing it online? Now you can do it anytime you want to. Sometimes you just wanted to really see the product, or you were maybe out because of some business and you found something, and now you know who the store is. You know that that store has an e-commerce store as well. You go to their website and you can now buy it and have it delivered to you right in your doorsteps. It definitely will become hybrid. Now, what's the value of the payment link like this on a hybrid scenario? Like I mentioned earlier, you have the ability to download the QR, which can be there on your physical store. I've experienced it myself. I've already am scanning QRs from restaurants, like when we ate in Fridays the other day. I scanned it rather than making a physical cash payment. So there's that scenario also, that people are now also doing QR payments. So digital payments will start really growing also in the physical space because of this technology on the QR.
JP, just a quick follow-up. If there's going to be a hybrid face-to-face and digital transactions, will this platform be able to integrate easily with, say, a spreadsheet of an MSME when they do the tallies for sales and payments or collections made?
Yes. The platform has the ability for you to download the transaction history. So you can view it on the mobile app, you can view it online, and you can also download the transaction history. So you download your statement, and all the information will be there for you.
Wow.
So you can tally.
Okay. This one is a question from Edsel Lorete, still for JP. How different is your Unionbank platform for SMEs from what consumers are used to taking or experiencing with Shopee and Lazada? I think we touched on this earlier, but maybe you can expound on it. How different are you?
So Shopee and Lazada, they're both marketplaces. That's where you do the actual buying and selling. And if you notice, when you make a digital payment in Shopee and Lazada, that payment you're doing directly to Shopee and Lazada. And at the end of it, they are the ones who are distributing it down to their merchants. Our platform gives that power to the MSMEs themselves. It's directly the business owner actually doing the collection. There's no more middleman in there, right? Like someone else doing that collection for them. That's a key difference.
Yeah, maybe I'll add to that as well.
Yes, go ahead.
I guess what I mentioned this earlier. For bigger merchants, of course, they have the funds to build their own website, to have their own website, and to connect to a payment gateway. But for them, but it's a very costly infrastructure to build. What we have done in UPay is bring that technology to our MSMEs, where they don't even need to build their own website. They don't even need to have a website. They just need they can market with the existing Facebook or Instagram or Facebook platforms or Viber, and actually use our platform to collect payments. So you actually don't need to build your own website. So it's very convenient.
Mhm. Okay. More questions now. This is from Emily Chu. Will payments be credited real time?
Jerry?
I will
Jerry, go ahead.
take that question. Okay. Payments will be credited within 2 banking days. So the transaction date plus 2 banking days.
But
Is it?
the
Go
payment
ahead.
is recorded in real time.
Yes, but the payments are recorded real time.
Huh? Isn't that a challenge? Because in the other digital wallets, it's real time. You transfer money, I can use it in an instant already if you transfer money to me.
Well, basically, transferring money is different from having a payment scenario. If you compare it also with other payment gateways, there are normally that turnaround time. But what we did was we lowered it to 2 days compared to others having 7 days, 14 days, and the likes. Now, the thing about that 2 days is because we also need to be collecting the money from our partners, our channel partners. It may be the other wallets and all those. So we're also waiting for them to transfer it to us, and then we'll be able to credit. So what we did was we report in real time that the payment has been made. So if I buy something from Jerry, Jerry would know that at this instant I already made the payment, and it's recorded as a payment made, but the record will show that it is for settlement on a certain date. So the ability for you to use that money in your actual bank account, that will happen upon the settlement date.
Mhm. Is it your target or goal to bring that 2 days waiting period to 0 days to make
We're
it
doing
instant?
our negotiations around it. Yes,
That's
as
good.
much as possible. Yes.
Okay, another question also from Emily Chu. We touched on this earlier, but maybe she wants us to expound on it. She says, I saw that UPay is accepting payments from multiple channels. Will it have additional costs like convenience fees if it's multiple channels already? If yes, around how much? Will it differ depending on how much the payment will be?
I'll take
Jerry?
that question. Yes, Mimi. Going back to what I've mentioned earlier, the type of fees will depend on the payment channel itself. Now, just to give you an example, for card payments, it will be a percentage fee of the transaction.
Yeah.
And for for bank transfer or for digital wallet transfers, there will be a fixed fee attached to the transaction. So there's a difference, and it really depends on the type of channel that the payment is being made.
Jerry, can we ask you what the rate is, for example, for the percentage fee and what the fixed rate is?
As much as I'd like to answer the question, um,
They-
yeah. As much as I'd like to answer the question, I'd like
They'd have to explore it
you have to explore.
themselves.
You have to download the app.
Yes.
This is my pitch. You have to download the app and find
To
it for
find it.
yourself.
But one thing's for sure, Jerry, it's competitive,
Yes,
right?
it's competitive.
Okay. Still from Emily Chu, is there a limit to payments received? Like one payment platform, they have only up to 50,000 pesos per day. Will UPay have that limit or cap too?
Now that's the beauty, because we are a bank. There is no limit on the amount that you will receive per day. There may be limits for every transaction depending on the channel that you're using. Like for example, one of our partners, OTC partners, has a limit of 80,000 pesos per transaction. InstaPay person to person has a limit of 50,000 per
Yes.
transaction. But if you add up, if you have 1,000 collections today worth 50,000 each, doesn't matter. It does not have in that sense of a limit.
Okay. It's on a per transaction basis. I hope we answered
Yes.
your question, Emily. Here's a question from Nicole Paler. chick mix. Will UPay also be including a payment scheme that does not need the customer to be online, like an NFC setup if compatible soon?
We're
Jerry?
hoping to, yes.
JP, yes.
Yes. We're hoping to. That becomes more of a physical POS type of scenario where
Oh.
there's no internet connection and you need to do a tap or you need to do a near field tapping scenario. Something that we're ideating on. But unfortunately, right now, not too much of that technology is available yet out in the MSME market. But once it is, definitely. Jerry and I has been talking about this a few days ago. How do we also enable that kind of technology inside UPay?
So how soon, Jerry?
Actually, we're very aggressive in adding more payment channels to UPay. So that's probably going to happen anytime soon, maybe in 2022.
Wow. Okay, that's soon, next year. Here's a question from an anonymous attendee. Would you be able to give rewards? I asked this earlier, to give rewards like other e-commerce platforms.
I will take that question. Right now, actually, when you download the app right now, if you're a business and you want to start collecting payments, what are the benefits that you get right now, or what are the perks for you right now? If a buyer or if a consumer uses the Unionbank channel, the fees are actually waived for now. Second is that once we have the credit card channels, when you avail of a credit card payment facility for Visa and MasterCard, there are usually some setup fees that attach to setting up that payment facility. But for UPay for MSMEs, we've actually waived annual fees. We've actually waived setup fees. And this will be very attractive to the MSME because they don't need to worry about setting these up.
And whenever we talk about payments, you know how some merchants offer installment payments, pay in 3 months, pay in 6 months, 0% interest. Would that be also possible on the platform?
That is also in the go JP.
Can I say it now, Jerry? We are building it right now.
Yes.
We are building
Wow,
a buy now, pay later facility where even non-Union Bank customers, your buyers, wherever they may be, they can access a buy now, pay later payment scheme in your payment channel.
Okay, how soon? I guess everyone's excited. How soon?
Any news on how soon, Jerry? I know we wanted
probably the first or second quarter of 2022. Yeah.
That's soon. Next year, first half of next year.
Soon.
And of course, I imagine the rates would also be competitive.
Oh yes, definitely.
Versus the promos of credit cards.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay. Jerry, this question has been really in my mind for a long time. When you talk about these payment gateways, you know how your competitors, the big ones, the telcos with their digital wallets, you know how they've become bigger. They've gotten a life of their own. You know, GCash is now GCash and not just a unit of Globe. PayMaya is now PayMaya and not just a unit of Smart. They're starting to get a life of their own. And in fact, investors, when you talk to them, are valuing these digital wallets more than the actual parent companies. Is this eventually the plan for this app for Unionbank, for the digital payments app for Unionbank, for a platform like this? That you will have a life of your own outside of just the universe of Unionbank, and investors will value you so much, and maybe you'd be spin off into your own unit eventually. Is that the plan?
Actually, when we conceptualize the UPay for MSMEs, what you are seeing right now is just the first leg of it, which is the payments. And what's in store for UPay is actually covering several or all of the different requirements that an MSME needs to run his business. Like I mentioned earlier, there will be loan facilities also included in the app. Remittance is also in the horizon. So everything that the tools that an MSME needs to run his business or to grow his business actually will be there in will be there in UPay for MSMEs.
Mhm. Final question for both gentlemen. If you could answer in one word, how would you describe the MSME experience with UPay? Just one word to describe
One word.
the MSME experience on UPay.
I'll describe it from the words of the customer that I just interviewed yesterday.
Okay.
Ang dali.
Wow. Okay. That's it. Ang
Madali.
dali.
Ang dali.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Jerry?
For me, that one word is similar to what JP mentioned. It's convenience.
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 All right. And on
Everyone
that,
is after convenience.
that's right. And on that note, I think that ends our media Q&As. If we were unable to answer the questions, more questions there. And if you have follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to send an email to gay.leong@grupoagatep.com. We'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. JP, Jerry, thank you so much for sharing your insights this morning, really enlightening us as to what UPay will mean for the ordinary, for the small businesses. They may be, small individually, but together they do power the economy. They are the backbone of the economy. Thank you, gentlemen. Please welcome Albert Cuadrante, Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer of Unionbank. Albert, go ahead.
Well, thank you for that delightful introduction. Maybe I don't know if I really deserve that, but thank you. And let me also thank everyone here, all our friends from the various media groups and the independent bloggers who are attending today, and for your continued support and interest on how Unionbank is leading innovation in the financial and business banking landscape. So to say, earlier we already heard to say that the business environment has changed dramatically over the last 2 years is probably the understatement of the year. And we're not out of the woods yet, as you know, but we are definitely seeing very encouraging signs that things are getting better. Now that the economy is slowly opening up, and I heard this also in one of the questions during the Q&A, one of the most commonly asked questions to me is if I foresee a slowing down of digital transactions and e-commerce. And will people revert to their pre-pandemic ways? I guess the short answer to that is likely not. The digital migration opened up a whole new marketplace for both businesses and consumers. For businesses, it became the great equalizer, I think. Suddenly, a home-based entrepreneur can sell his or her own products beyond just the vicinity of her residence. And for some of these micropreneurs, the taste of success made them realize that maybe losing their job wasn't all that bad after all, because now they're even earning more when they were gainfully employed. For the consumers, it opened up more choices and gave us even better deals. How many of us wait for double date sales each month? Nabudol na ba kayo? No? Union Bank's role here is to really help enable everyone to succeed in this continually evolving environment. For the micro entrepreneurs and the SMEs, we continue to give them opportunities to allow them to access sources of credit and loans through our CCAP platform, for example, and to expand their network of suppliers and customers through our global linker platform as well, as developing solutions to enhance the operations of their businesses, as JP and Jerry already pointed out, through our SME business banking app, which they talked about extensively earlier. So this is why we've been recognized also as the best bank for SMEs, back-to-back by Asia Money, and we're very, very proud of that recognition. And we will also stay close to MSMEs as we remain in the forefront of supporting what I would call BWB, or Business Without Borders. For consumers, our Union Bank online app features help everyone not just to survive, but thrive, like our mobile check deposits, for example. That's one of my personal favorite features, being able to deposit a check without leaving your home. We have an expense tracker in the app to allow you to do your budgeting more efficiently. And another personal favorite of mine is the ability to set goals and set aside money for these goals that you set, like maybe your destination travel destination, a dream car, a new house. And this allows you not only to be a little bit more practical with those goals, but to also be very hopeful of the future, to see that things will get better, and they are going to get better. These days, we see around 5 million electronic fund transfers in a month going through our app. And we know that this will continue to rise as well as expand gradually as we see more and more customers, consumers, and businesses on board in our platforms. In Unionbank, we repeatedly say that given the fast digital pace, no one should get left behind, and we are committed to that. So once again, thank you for joining us. I look forward to meeting you all soon in person someday, but until then, have a good rest of the day.